First of all, Zeb, first question is what prompted the mustache?
Back when Trey and I played together at North Dakota State, the day before picture day, we thought, try something different, and the season hasn't been exactly what we wanted, so I figured I'd bring it back.
And I guess what was that like for you, that moment connecting with Xavier in the end zone and feeling that crowd around you? What was that moment like for you?
Surreal. It's those moments you dream of as a kid. You always think about it. I'm in my whatever year of playing, and you still dream about those moments. Even at practice every day, you think about making those throws and, just doing your job, and that's what it came down to.
David?
Hey, Zeb, when did you get the call that said you were going in, and how much time did you have to warm up?
Realistically, and I mean this in a good way, like I'm ready whenever, just because I was a backup for a pretty long time, so I've always had to be ready to go. I throw a little bit stretcher, and they told me after that last possession before I went in, let's go. So I was just ready.
Corey Diaz.
Yeah, Zeb, I think back to when Luke took over at the starting quarterback job. It was due to you going down to a hand injury during the Georgia game. Talk about just the last 3 weeks mentally, if there's been a toll on you from having it go away from you in that manner, and then two, when you tried to back out there, got back in the huddle with the guys with 1:36 to go on the clock. Just what was that particular moment like for you?
The only thing I can do is go be a good teammate and help Luke be ready every single week, no matter who we're playing, or no game's bigger than the next. So, I spent just as much time as I did up there when I was a starter, and there's a day goes by that we watch it all together, and you never know when your number's going to be called. So I know it's cliche, but I truly take that to heart, just because I want to be there and I don't want to let anybody down. And then part two was, what was it like to get back in the huddle? Heck, for me, it was, I told them, keep me clean. I got you. That's what I said, and let's roll.
Ben Portnoy.
Zeb, on that 8-play drive, what were kind of some of the play calls that you guys were seeing? What were you guys looking at? And I guess just kind of take us through that drive, what you saw.
They hadn't had many 2-minute drives this season. They had a quick one against UConn, I believe, and a kind of a 2-minute against Stanford. So we hadn't seen much, and fortunate enough that I played at Iowa State, and they get in that 3-high safety look in the with the 3-down lineman. I kind of knew where to go with the ball just from playing against those guys so much, and not key it. I normally key a certain guy, but I changed it up a little bit and just trusted. I told Sad we talked about what plays I liked. There's probably 15, 16 plays he went down a list on that. And I said, just calling them, and we'll go.
Gene Sapikoff.
Zeb, you've been on a lot of teams, Iowa State, North Dakota State, this one. What's your feel for what this team has in it going forward? I mean, can they win some more games? You like the vibe with these guys?
Yeah, even, I told the SEC reporter this on the after the game, personally, you look at the Tennessee game and we're down, and no one ever quit or gave up or pointed fingers or, complained on the sideline. Throughout the weeks, nobody's ever complained and been like, well, give me the ball, or been very selfish. Everybody truly loves each other and cares for each other. And, I just think that we've been in really bad situations, but guys, we get 12 games this year, but Coach Beamer plans to be here for a long time, and it's, we got to build a culture from the bottom up, and that's where it starts, is games like this. It's probably a good thing that it went down at Tennessee, because we got to find out what we're made of. The outcome at Tennessee wasn't great, and, just continue to get better and love each other and, just trend upward every single week in whatever way we can.
Pete Acabelli. Pete. Let's go to Michael and Anna. Let's go to Michael and Anna. Can you hear me? They can't hear me. Oh, we're back? Okay.
Got you, Stevie. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Pete?
Hey, Zeb. Two quick ones. Where does this rank for you in your football career? And do you like that Colonel Zebulaya Noland stuff on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a surreal feeling. Like I've told you guys before, I never thought I'd put on the pads again and never get the opportunity to do this again. And I came back just because, like, I love these guys. I truly love every one of them. You know, I try to celebrate with them more than they celebrated me, you know, after that touchdown. But, you know, I think it's got to be one of the tops. Just, you know, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. Like, going in and doing that, like, it's a childhood dream. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Super Bowl like Tom Brady and those guys did back when they played the Falcons, or whether we're playing Vandy or whoever. It doesn't matter to me. Like, you know, those are those moments that really define people. I mean, look at our O-line. They held up, kept me clean. I mean, maybe just a little pressure on the one I flipped out to Z White, but, I mean, you got to give all the, you know, props to them for that. And then, yeah, the Colonel Zebulaya, it's good. Trying to get some shirts made, so those should be coming out pretty soon.
Michael and Anna?
Zeb, obviously the huge catch there by Leggett there to win the game. Obviously hadn't had a catch yet this season before today. I know he dealt with a little injury too. Just what have you seen out of him in practice, and what just are your impressions of him as a player, and what did that moment mean, do you think, to him and for you to see him come through with that?
Yeah, I mean, Xavier, we call him Zay, so he works hard every single day. Like, during fall camp, he made great plays. You know, actually the play that we scored on, I threw a touchdown to him in practice one day on the same exact thing. It came from the other side. So instead of throwing it left, I threw it from the right. You know, and he just comes to work, like, his injury didn't bother him. You know, he's ready to go always. He practiced really hard. He worked really, really, really hard this summer, and he just comes out and continues to get better. He takes one-on-one serious, and he learns a lot from Josh. I know that people say it, but Josh is really, really smart, Josh Van, and he teaches those young guys a lot. And he's got a really good feel for the game, and I think that's why he's successful. So, you know, between Josh, DK, Jalen Brooks, those guys help the young guys every single day continue to get better.
We'll take one more. Joe Machika?
Hey, Zeb. It seemed like your composure has always been very even keel. You seem very composed on that last drive. What are like, how do you keep it composed so often?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first time I ever came in a bad situation like that was against Iowa at Iowa in the fourth quarter, and I've played at Georgia now, and but they were chanting IOWA as loud as anything I've ever heard. And you know, I've always told quarterbacks that played in front of me, just smile in bad situations. And you know, I think back to that moment, Kyle Kemp, he told me, "Hey man, just smile, you'll be all right." So you know what's funny is, like, the guys on the sideline, like, I tell all the other quarterbacks that I do. So they were all like, "Hey man, just smile." So you know, just go out there and have fun. I mean, Sat says all the time, make it recess. I mean, really, that's what football is. I mean, you get to live a dream. So just make it recess and have fun. And you know, that stadium was pretty loud at the end of the game when everybody was cheering for us, you know, to keep them quiet.
All right. Thank you, Zeb.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank you
it.
guys.